Okay, so to do the lace up, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that it's strung through one of the sides and that the ties are about equal in length. So I'm going to just adjust these so they're about equal. String it through like this, pull a tiny bit, and actually this is wrong. Starting off on a great foot here. What you want to make sure is that when you're stringing these, you go from the inside out, because then it's going to be easier to pull and tighten when they're coming from the inside. So again, we're making sure these are about equal. Okay, pulling a little bit. For right now, I'm not really too concerned about this panel in the back. What I want to make sure is that I kind of string everything first and then we tighten. So I'm going to string every single one, so I hope you're ready for this adventure.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to be stringing, making sure that the same strand going the same direction is either on top or on bottom every single time. So what that means is that if you are having this strand go on top of this one, it needs to be going on top also on the bottom. See how this is on top both times and this one is underneath both times. It's kind of just like tying your shoes. And then we just continue going down in the same manner, again going from the inside of the loop to the outside. It's a good idea to get about halfway, which in this case is where the beaded belt is, before you start to tighten, or once you run out of strings. Okay, now I'm kind of out of strings, so we're going to tighten. Ready?
Okay, I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
And I'm going to just pull towards the inside, not towards myself, towards the inside. And you can see we're going to just, actually I'm going to pull the bra down like that. And then I'm going to tighten. And at this point, you may or may not be able to snap that snap. That will be here. And this particular tie has a seam right in the middle, so I'm using that as my middle of the tie. So you can use that as your guide as well, if it has it. So again, I'm pulling towards the middle. That makes it a little bit easier to tighten. So I am going a little bit at a time. I know we're still going to be tightening more, but this is a really good start. And I can continue to string all the way down before I finalize the top. Otherwise, it's going to just keep getting loosened. And again, noticing that all of my strings going in that direction are on top of the other ones. This is important because the light will hit the satin a little bit differently if it's mismatched. Okay, now this is where it starts to get serious. We're going to squish you. Okay, so now you make sure that the dress is in the middle. You should be looking at it the whole time, making sure that the dress is nice and in the middle.
Okay.
And that the waistline is where you like it.
Okay.
And the tightest part of this should be the waist.
Yep.
So don't worry. She can handle it. You can squish her. Is that right?
Yeah.
We want this really graceful V shape when we tighten. And you don't have to worry about doing that snap up until the very end. You can even reach in there and snap it at the end once you're done tightening everything. And look at how much string I have left just by doing that. So you might feel like the string is not long enough, but it's good, trust me, just get down to it. And then later on in the night, you might want this tightened too. In the waist, you might feel like it's falling down. So it's a good idea to not do such a tight permanent knot at the bottom of these, because you never know. Might be really hard to take off later. But this is starting to look really nice so far. Okay, we've got one more. So we've got one more loop at the bottom, and then we'll string the rings to the ribbons to the inside of the dress. So now I'm going to change how I do it. I'm just going to push down into the loop as opposed to up, because this area we will not be tightening anymore. Before you do this, make sure that it is nice and tight over here. How is that feeling for you? Is that too loose, or are we okay?
No, I think we're okay.
Because I want you to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
So I'm just seeing that this one is going kind of straight and then to a V, so I'm just going to tighten this area here in the rib cage, just where she's breathing, to make sure that she cannot. Just kidding. Okay, just going to bring that little piece all the way down. And this is the time that you can straighten out all of the strings, all the ties, in case they got a little twisted on you. And I'll show you, because we're going to go underneath the entire train. I'm going to position this down a little bit so you can see. Okay, make sure it is not too tight through here. Okay, so now we're going to reach underneath here, and this is usually underneath all of the petticoats. So I mean, we're going right underneath the booty, okay? But I'm not going to show it on camera. Okay, so I'm going right underneath. Okay, right underneath that corset panel, so I can reach my finger through here. And like I said, I'm going to go into one of the loops and then into the other loops. And here. And this area does not terribly matter too much what you do. Some people like to have the corset ties, the bow on the outside. This is entirely personal preference. For now, we're just gonna tuck it in. And now you can lift the skirt up and tie a bow underneath. And like I said, try not to tighten it. Try not to make too tight of a knot, because then you might not be able to undo it. So just one knot and one bow is good, just to keep it away from the feet if it's too long on the bottom. And now we fluff everything. And here's what we have. Beautiful.